In this video, I'm going to introduce you to the map that you'll be using in LANDNAV. This map is modeled after military maps. It uses the military grid reference system. I've simplified it somewhat. You don't need to worry about the number identifiers or anything. It's just raw latitude and longitude. One other thing I want to point out, you don't need to worry about the GM angle. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. If you do know what that is, you can just disregard it. The GM angle for this map will be 0. In general, a lot of this stuff, like the elevation guide over here and this scale, it's not set up correctly yet. It's just there as placeholder. So don't concern yourself with that. It won't really matter in a practical sense. Just focus here on the play area. Obviously, the red hashed off area is out of bounds for right now. We're only working in this 6 kilometer by 2 kilometer area for the playtest. So if you don't have any familiarity with the map, I'm going to give you a few pointers. The main things you'll be looking at is the contour lines. That's all these red lines. You probably already have some sense that this is representing the shape of the terrain. Water and little black dots, they kind of speak for themselves. Any of those black dots, those are buildings. In our game, they're always going to be labeled. The grid here is, I'll talk about that a little more. Let's just do one thing at a time. Let's talk about the contour lines. So you'll have to develop skill in reading the contour lines and relating it to the terrain. Let me give you an example here. So here is our game world, model of our game world, and you can see the contour lines on it. Let me find actually the area we're going to be in. It's down here. So you can see where the contour lines are closer together, those are steeper areas. And where they're spaced further apart, those are lower or flatter areas. Let's get down on the ground level here to get a better sense. And so just with practice, you'll learn to read the contour lines on the map and then be able to relate it to what you see in the game world. This is a pretty challenging area because the features are pretty subtle. You don't have huge mountains and valleys. So you have to be careful. You can easily mistake, one little slight rise in elevation for another. So really, especially as a beginner, expect to make some mistakes. It's all part of the learning experience. It does take a lot of practice before you can really accurately read the map. Now your control points will be delivered in the form of a 8-digit grid coordinate. Let's just talk about 4-digit grid coordinates to begin with. So what do I mean when I say a grid coordinate? Let's say I wanted to tell you how to get to this service tower. One way I could do is I could say, well, take the road down here, and then walk up the hill, for 1 kilometer, and then turn right at the old tree, and from the radio tower, stay on top of the hill. Well, instructions like that are basically useless, right? You would definitely end up getting lost, especially if we're looking for a really small point in the middle of the woods. We need military precision. So the grid square reference system is how we get that precision. Like I said, each one of these grids represents 1 kilometer. So if I wanted to tell you to go to the service tower at grid 0468, now you're able to identify the correct service tower. It'd be this one versus this one. The way you read the grid squares, the way you read them is you just have to memorize this, just right and up. So you always read the map right and up. What that means is you read the numbers going from left to right, and then you read the numbers going up. So if I tell you it's in grid 4, 6, 8, you find grid 4. Okay, that's this one to the right of number 4. And then up is the 6, 8. So this one is 6, 8, where they intersect. This grid here is 0, 4, 6, 8. Okay, again, if I said it was in 5, 6, 7, you'd say, okay, to the right is 5, and then up is the 6, 7 there, so that would be this grid here. If I told you find the service tower in 0, 1, 6, 7, you say, okay, to the right, 0, 1, then up 6, 7 would be here. So it's pretty simple, but you do kind of have to reinforce that, right and up in your mind, because if you make a mistake, you'll have to learn it the hard way and do a lot of walking to correct it. Now, if I just give you 4 digits, that only gives you accuracy to 1 kilometer. In order to get greater accuracy, we have to kind of break this grid into a denser grid. So we'll see that in action once we get into the kind of practical hands-on stuff. But that should give you a good introduction to what the map is, how it relates to your 3D terrain. And one thing I want to let you guys know is this right here is a really powerful resource. It's not going to be available to you in the playtest. I have to get ready. But there will be a resources section where I'll have like this 3D map and you can fly around in it. And that's actually I wish you could have something like this in real life, but it's a really great way to visualize what these contour lines mean exactly. Like, look at the contour lines and help you visualize what that will actually translate to. So I hope that helps you guys. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be continuing on with more videos. So